How to learn English in 8 easy steps. No matter where you go in the world, chances are you'll find someone who speaks English. As it is both the most spoken language in the world and the language of international business, it makes sense that many are seeking to learn it. But learning English isn't all about assuming formality. You may have entirely different reasons for wanting to learn this common tongue. You could be interested in reading a book by your favorite international author, or want to watch your favorite film without subtitles, or merely hope to stay in touch with a long-lost friend. Whatever your reasons, studying the language is an enjoyable hobby, and one that will help your mind to grow. Alternatively, you may be hoping to provide learning resources for a class or a friend looking to improve his or her own command of English. With a lexicon of more than 750,000 words, the English language can be intimidating. However, English is related to a variety of other international languages, which, depending on your own native tongue, can make things easier. And English has quite an interesting history. Be hesitant, nervous, or flat-out scared of trying to learn English. With so many language learning resources available to you in this digitized world, you'll be speaking like a native in no time at all. Read on to learn some easy and actionable steps for those who want to learn English. 1. Set language learning objectives. Before you can even start to learn English, you'll want to set some goals and benchmarks. Goals will not only help you develop an overall learning strategy, they will also help you hold yourself accountable. Goals should be dependent on your language level and access to resources, such as organized classes or the ability to study abroad. They should also consider the different components of gaining language proficiency, such as building your vocabulary, pronunciation, reading comprehension, and writing skill. Goals are good for anyone learning a language, whether it's you or your students. Below are some English learning objectives that language students can get excited about. Beginner. Have a basic conversation about your school or some other specific topic and be ready to answer basic questions on the topic. Intermediate. Watch a movie in English without subtitles. Advanced. Read articles from reputable English newspapers and stand ready to hold a broad conversation about what has been read. Alternatively, goals involving language study don't need to be so formal. For example, are you planning a trip and simply want to know basic words to help you get around? How about learning English just so you can understand movies while improving your listening skills? Remember, you don't have to be a strict English grammarian to gain a clear understanding of the language, so design your goals to be both attainable and geared toward the way you want to use the language. 2. Read content in a variety of formats. One of the best ways to become exposed to new vocabulary words is to make sure to consume your content in the target language in a variety of formats. People communicate differently depending on the platform they are using. For example, those who chat on social media do so in a much more colloquial and conversational language than do the authors of traditional literature or even of newspaper coverage. Understanding the ways native speakers communicate in different formats is key to helping you gain your own grasp of the language. With this in mind, try to consume as much content as you possibly can. Everything from in-depth pieces by academics and thought leaders to song lyrics, blogs, social media posts, newspaper and magazine articles, and more. Review vocabulary words you don't understand and pay attention to how native speakers structure their sentences, their paragraphs, and their word choices. Just getting your eyes in front of an English text is key to learning how to distinguish between words, choose a proper sentence structure, and address multiple other grammatical factors. 3. Talk to English speakers. Knowing a language is one thing, but being able to communicate in it is another. Put your learning into action by practicing with native English speakers. Having simple, everyday conversations will make you more comfortable with all facets of learning a language. Pronunciation, circumlocution, using other similar words when you don't know or can't recall the word itself, comprehension, and the art of translating your thoughts into a response. Once you are past the beginner stage, we recommend conversing with English speakers from an array of different English-speaking countries. This is because citizens of each, the United Kingdom, the United States, Australia, etc., have their own unique way of speaking English. Hearing it spoken different ways will familiarize you with the language's idiosyncrasies. If you don't know any native English speakers, don't worry. There are plenty of online language classes to help you along. 4. Take a formal English class. It can be exceptionally valuable to learn English from someone who has been specifically trained to teach it. A formal English class will allow you to learn the language in an organized fashion, helping you to continuously build upon your strengths and incorporate gains you've already made. A class can be tailored and customized to help you meet your individual goals, whatever they may be. In addition, it can provide extra resources when you can't seem to grasp a particular grammatical concept or a tricky phrase. Working with a specialized English teacher can be particularly helpful because they have had to learn the language as well. This means they can provide guidance in the fundamentals, as they most likely have struggled with the very things you struggle with. 5. Practice writing in a variety of formats. Even if you're only learning English for an upcoming trip, you can become a successful language learner by writing your thoughts down in a variety of formats. While yes, reading and speaking aloud are vital components in mastering the language, writing can be a great way to truly process everything you learn. Challenge yourself to write on a variety of topics, using the same themes you study in class. For example, if you are focusing on a specific grammatical theme or convention, use those very words to create a fun short story. Or if you are learning sentence and verb structure, consider creating a blog documenting the experience. If your English is advanced, consider reading articles from the New York Times or other reputable newspapers. Newspaper articles can be especially beneficial in helping students learn English because such a wide variety of topics are covered. After you're done writing, ask a native English speaker or teacher to read what you've written. They can provide constructive feedback that will help you learn still more. 6. Do word puzzles. An important part of learning a language is gaining command of its vocabulary. And what better way to reinforce this than by doing word puzzles, especially those from the New York Times? Crossword puzzles allow you to expand your vocabulary, practice your spelling, and train your brain to start thinking in another language. The true testament to successful mastery of a language occurs when you can think in that language without even noticing it. When you hear something in English, you don't want to waste time translating it, arriving at a response, and translating it back into English. This will only exhaust and confuse you. Use the crossword as a small yet helpful exercise in reading a question in English and responding without too much delay. The minute you embark on your English journey, you are bound to have questions. Don't be afraid to ask them. It's important to become comfortable in knowing what you don't know. And a simple question to your English teacher or a native speaker can make all the difference in the world. Remember, everyone was a beginner at some point. You'll be glad you mustered up the courage to ask, and you never know what lessons you'll learn. 8. Go abroad. There's nothing like putting what you've learned into action. Going abroad and experiencing the English language firsthand can be a great way to not only improve your skills, but to bolster your self-confidence. Language learning can often be expedited by going abroad, since you are forced to communicate with others who may not know your first language. You will have no option but to use your arsenal of English, no matter how rudimentary you may feel it is. Don't give up and don't feel embarrassed. We're all human, and native speakers will surely appreciate it when you approach them in their native language rather than assuming they know yours. 9. Subscribe our channel for new videos and don't forget to like video. Thank you so much for watching.